Thank you, Catherine. So, hello everybody, and yeah, greetings from Germany today. First of all, I would like to, of course, thank you all for your time, and it's really appreciated that you are already also, in this AEC Hackathon. Some of you, if you have participated before, might remember me from, I think, the first AEC Hackathon in Munich, which was, I think 2 or 3 years ago, some time ago. And I participated with a friend of mine, Garrett, and we won that thing also. So it was pretty fun. And today, actually, I'm going to talk about multiple things. And before we start, I'm going to actually begin by talking not about augmented reality at the beginning, just for a few minutes, but about like how to start projects and so on from my point of view. So I will share my screen now. By the way, if there are questions, as Catherine said already, just write something and she will interrupt me, and I will try to answer your questions. Hope that is fine with everybody. Good. So let me just go for this now. So let's come back to that point. How to start like something, especially when it has to be quick. For that, I am following actually a very simple principle, which is to answer always the why, the how, and the what. And the idea behind that is that before I do anything, I just want to understand why I'm doing it, like what is the analysis of it, what am I changing, like why is there some issue, and how this can be changed, like what kind of technical methods can be applied, what are the possibilities to make the differences there, how something can be used to solve this problem that was presented before. And at last, what is like the solution itself? What is the end of that product? So basically, in our context, many of the things we are doing are based on solving one situation, which is actually a very human situation. There are so many tasks in this world, and many of these tasks rely on either solving some, let's say, questions or preparing some, let's say, information in a way that our brain can handle it better. Other information has to do with how we interact with the world. But at the end, it's all about the human that is gonna be using using the solutions, the services that you're providing, and this at the end will help, hopefully, some people in this world, and it's best if it helps more people to do some things better, to make a difference, and improve this world in some ways. And this can be either something that will make things faster, make things easier, make things better. Hopefully helping people to be more happy at the end. For example, in the context of our of the hackathon that we participated in, what we created was a tool for the HoloLens. So people can be found via beacons and their devices in case of emergency inside buildings, like for example if there's a fire. So firemen can run to the victim and rescue them with the building plans involved. So the combination of BIM information and other information. And most importantly, what makes always a difference in, let's say, in this context of creation is you. So whatever like your teams are consistent of, every team has different traits and every person has different traits. So the solutions that you will come up are always different than from others, because we all have different brains and different methodologies. And that's the beauty of it. We are able to go out to this world and find different solutions that work better in different cases. And this is something that I find very, very valuable. So that was like the first cozy introduction. And now we get into Gamma AR, which is actually my company. Yeah, by the way, that is what we are doing. We are doing augmented reality-based and BIM-based construction site management. So here we start. And again, we start, of course, by starting with the why. By the way, if you have any questions, feel free to interrupt me. Also now. So, first of all, what is it what we are doing? We develop a software called Gamma, and Gamma actually visualizes 3D BIM models on top of reality, as you can see also in the image. And we do that for a reason. And this reason is to prevent errors, like mistakes on site, and prevent the rework that will come with it, and also share information in real time between site and the office. So let's talk a little bit more deeper about the why. So at the moment, the problem that exists, let's say, in this world is that we have some kind of information loss as an issue, because on one side, we have planners that create this highly super detailed BIM models, as you all are very familiar with probably. And these models, as you also know, contain a ton of information. And on the right side, you can see actually an image of a person from 1950, or of a group of people from 1950. But it's basically the same throughout all of the worlds in mostly 90% of construction sites. And this is because, there was a lack of, let's say, possibility in terms of hardware to bring BIM information to the site. Of course, you could always navigate inside a 3D model, but that was not really intuitive. At the same time, because this simplification into a 2D plan in some ways, and this overcomplication at the same time, since you are losing information, or you're compressing three-dimensional information into plans and spreadsheets that you take to the site, you're getting a lot of problems that nobody will see until they are built. So basically you get coordination problems, which leads to this kind of very funny examples. Sadly, they do happen. And I got actually a bunch of more pictures in another context. For example, balconies that lack doors and or similar things. So basically, we are trying to avoid issues like this. But much more often, you will see something like this on site. You will go to the site, you will see, okay, somebody forgot to basically build the wall with an opening that it requires for the pipes to go through. And this very common mistake can be solved actually very easily by just visualizing it before. And if people would have seen this issue before, they would have saved a lot of money. I can just say, in terms of, like, for example, Germany, issue like this, a problem like this, will cost between 1,000 and 2,000 euros for every drill. And that's a lot of money. And we are trying to avoid that by using Gamma. So what Gamma does is it prevents errors by visualizing 3D BIM models over the reality. And it facilitates the communication process between the site and the office, but also between the actors itself. So people can and are able to communicate easier and simpler just by having something that is, let's say, the most precise thing in a model, which is the object, and talking about it. And at the same time, it helps construction site managers to manage their sites effectively by providing a better way of documentation. So let's come to the how. Just a question. Before we start with the how, any questions about until so far? Or can I just continue?
I think you can just continue.
Okay, so I will continue. So let's come back to the how. We did a lot of analysis about what actually matters for construction site managers, and also for other people on site, but especially for construction site managers, what made a big difference to their, let's say, daily tasks is always the possibility to, of course, visualize what they have to build before they are building it on site in a very easy and intuitive way. At the same time, something that construction site managers are, always have to keep track of, and this leads also to many issues because plans and plannings are always changing, are the information about the objects. Let's say there's an update about an object, and this is only written in some kind of spreadsheet, and there is a version of that, and so on. So this construction process, like especially old ones, are very prone to errors. So since at the moment there are these beautiful IFC models or BIM models that people can use to access all the information from the planning, and since this can be like all the time very, let's say, up to date, this allows people to access information easier. So that means if the construction site manager goes to the site and accesses the information from the BIM model, he can just select, let's say, a duct, get the information about it, get the necessary things about like the comparison between what was planned and what was delivered to the site, and maybe even make adaptations. And the same is also for the geometry. And also at the moment, the process of creating issues or managing issues is kind of lengthy, and it's not precise due to the lack of, let's say, direct BIM information. We realized that many solutions on the market are not so component-based. And for us, it was always from the beginning something very important that whatever we do, we want to have it like as real as possible. So if there's an issue, then there is an issue with a component or with a, with this. And that leads to, actually a very precise way of documentation and also issue tracking. Meaning if there is an example again, an issue with, let's say, if you want to check if the fire protection on a wall or not on a wall, on a door is the correct one, that is it, if it's the one that was delivered, and if it has all the, let's say, properties that it should have, in comparison to, let's say, in a paper form where you have a spreadsheet and you have to check all the things from a spreadsheet, you can just, without bringing any paper with you, go to the site with the BIM model, align yourself to reality, and check directly, okay, hey, this door is not what it should have been. and you can start your communication processes based on that. At the same time, if you continue, for example, to with the processes that construction managers need to do, they need to be able to track the construction progress, of course, and write also like letters if something is not delivered on time. This is also, again, component-based. And for that purpose, it's super helpful to go to the site, select the objects, and say, okay, we have something here that is not done until that time. So maybe we can send a notification about this and see where this is going. This can be also in a positive way. Everything that is done is then done. So that means by doing all that, by bringing augmented reality to the construction site, what we can provide is the ability to basically make everything transparent and bring this information to everybody, even the builder, who will be able to access this information and say, okay, like everything's going well or everything's not going well. So to begin with, something very important in this case is the basic technology that we require, which is basically BIM. Basically meaning in our context, semantic models. So with this semantic models is where we start. So we laid out at the beginning of also our project a basic workflow that we wanted, let's say the process to look like. So we are at the end closing this information cycle. When we are starting with the BIM model that is created, which is then uploaded in the next step to our portal. We have it's not only an app that we have, it's also a platform that is dealing with distribution and collection of data, like issues and so on. And after uploading a model, since we don't want every time somebody putting a cable into their phones or tablets and uploading their models by themselves, this should be done centrally. We want all the information to be delivered directly from the devices to the phones and or tablets, of course, from the platform. Then in step 3, that's the view of the construction site manager. Issues and are created with links to the BIM model. So every time when something is done, it has, since every object in the BIM model has an ID, this information is collected on the phones, and as long as there is a real-time internet connection, it is synchronized in real time back with the portal. And if there is no connection, it's going to be, of course, then synchronized afterwards. In step 5, we are back again in the portal, in the central hub where this information lives. And this is where actually all the data is synchronized. Again, it can be synchronized with other platforms like BIM 360, but if you want, you can even export PDFs and emails and simple spreadsheets. So we are able to communicate with everybody that even isn't maybe not, let's say, digitalized at the moment. And this is something that is also, let's say, very important for our time, since, in our time at the moment, not everybody is there, but we need to, let's say, handle the transition from non-digital to digital ways. And this works better, that's at least from our point, by providing also non-digital people the possibility to be able to be active. And in the last step, we bring the data also back to the BIM models, and these models can then be synchronized again into the whole process. So everything, all the data stays, fluent. And let's talk about what. Sorry, my colleagues are writing me all the time here, or not me, but back into the group. Sorry for this annoying stuff on the top. Okay, so let's talk about what. So here is actually what you can see in a small context about what. You're seeing a construction site manager who's overlaying actually the reality with the BIM model. He's able to run through it. That's a project in Berlin, quite a big one. And I will come back to that in a second later. So basically, for one of our first, let's say, videos that we did, that was with the company POR, which some of you maybe know. It's like it's a European construction company, pretty big, and they're also one of our clients, and they're very far or advanced with their BIM systems, and they decided to use Gamma. And to be able to use Gamma, actually, what they do is they go to our portal, our website, basically, upload their BIM models, which are like, so there's a possibility, of course, to invite other users. And then they go to the site. Then they select a model that they want to use, select the floor that they are in. And the next step, they just choose an object to align them or the model to. So this is the alignment. And this is something very important, since it doesn't require any any preparation, no QR codes or anything. And with that, you're able to go to the site, visualize what kind of objects there are. You have different ways of actually hiding or showing things, different visualization options at the end. And you are able to access all the information from the BIM model. So no spreadsheets anymore. You can go to the site. You can, of course, go and like create comments on the precisely on the objects, and make photos of this, and even also track the state of them. So is there an issue or is not?
We have one question about that.
Yeah, sure.
The question is from Jeffrey. What mechanism do you use to align the model with the context in the AR view?
Yes. Basically, we are using, I can go back, or I can show you here in a few seconds. Here, on the right side, you can see that. The mechanism is actually just basically the camera. So basically, we developed an algorithm to be able to, with 2 clicks, align the reality, the model to reality. And this is what we are doing. So it's not something that you can, like, let's say, access somewhere. It's not GPS or anything. It's our own tracking system. And with this, that works. So in the, let's say, in every context, there might be something other than what we are doing, maybe even useful. For example, we don't need any preparation. There is no need for, printing QR codes or whatever. But like in other contexts, maybe that's a very useful possibility. It always depends on what you are going for. For example, especially if you go for facility management, maybe that's another thing. So we provide this ability. We started actually by using QR codes, but realized very soon it's not something that anybody want to invest time in. So we dropped it at one point. I hope that did answer your question.
I think so.
Okay, good.
Thanks.
Yeah. So what you can see basically here in these videos on the left side is like the ability to visualize something that are also behind the objects. And okay, in the middle, of course, you have different visualization options. And again, what makes Gamma great is our very, very easy positioning method that helps users to, with like no preparation at all, go to the site, and that's it. And it needs to be in that way, since yeah, nobody can invest time in preparing. Like, everybody wants to be as quick as possible. And of course, what you're seeing in these videos here are the different possibilities to yeah, to track actually information, to go to the site, making photos and so on. And what is great about like what we have created here in this context is that since we are bringing the model into reality, we are not only able to define like what kind of issues the objects have, but since we know exactly in which position these issues were taken, that means we are providing actually also coordinate system with X, Y, and Z for the real building, which at the end is kind of crazy because it's not like even bringing like the reality into let's say through the camera into the virtual world, but it brings the virtual world into the reality too. It really augments the reality. And of course, in terms of like design context and so on, yeah, hey, you need to sometimes be able to just scale the model and have a look at it. And the same features are also provided in like a scaled context. This is then more like a design review context. So let's talk a little bit about communication. I will just try to, in a more simple way, try to show you how this actually all works. So it's actually pretty easy. Basically, this BIM model that people are using for planning is uploaded to our platform. Basically, we just check if everything's okay. And if everything was, yeah, created in the correct way, all this information is again automatically distributed to all devices on site. That means, for example, these 5 construction managers that are using their devices. Let's have a closer look at the device of one construction manager. Let's have a look at this picture. So in this case, the construction manager goes to the site. He's able to track the progress of the issues and make some comments and so on, get information, and he will mark the things that are not correct. This information is, like, as long as there is some internet connection, automatically synchronized with our platform. And of course, also visualized in a simple way. So at Gamma, what we are doing a lot of times are taking decisions based on, is it something that is gonna make people's lives easier or harder? So if it's something that is easier, we are going for that solution. If it's harder, we don't want to go for that solution. So in our context, since everything is synchronized and people have, yeah, like the information always available 24/7 in our web platform, they're able also to go there and assign tasks, set due dates, even set revision states that are even synchronized with BIM 360. And we know always what kind of tasks are left. And the data is again connected. One of the other things that we realized that, let's say, many solutions didn't do is they didn't try to integrate well with others. For example, we went to integrate like in a very, let's say, strong manner with BIM 360 by even providing, for example, as you can see, a column for BIM 360 IDs, and if you press on it, you will directly open the BIM 360 ID. So the data is synchronized in a very neatly way. Because at the end, we don't want to put, let's say, hurdles in the way of the people. They should just be able to use any software that they want to use. And we are going to continue in our developments with that too. And all the information that we are creating can also be exported in such a manner. We always decided to have full open BIM support. So we are, of course, providing a possibility to use IFC and BCF. BCFs can be exported and downloaded to the people's system, and they can go to use it in their, like the BIM images in their issue management systems and so on. We are able, of course, to use CSVs and like export them. And we have a Revit plugin that will directly access the data from Portal from Gamma into inside the BIM model. That means you are able to just, like with filters, like you show everything inside the BIM model. You have all the comments there. You can make adaptations there directly. So if you're a designer that needs to, or an architect that needs to change something there, you know always, okay, there was an issue. I need to adapt it in such a way that it will work. And of course, like the BIM 360 connection that we have.
There's one question.
Sure.
Michael asks if you can demonstrate how you click on a BIM 360 doc ID and see it open. Is that something you can demonstrate for them?
I would love to demonstrate, but I am currently working on my iPad because my computer had an issue that I described Catherine before. So if you want to try it out, super easy. You can just create an account in Gamma. It's 30 days for free, and you're ready to go. You can just connect it with your BIM 360 project. So that is, I'm sorry, my advice for today, since I am making this presentation from my iPad now. Hope you don't mind.
Great, thank you.
Okay, sorry for that again. And by actually going this, like closing this information cycle, that is what I wanted to say. You are able to visualize this like information always again in the BIM model. That means you can track everything through the BIM models. That leads to, at the end, the BIM model becoming the single source of truth of all your data, which is basically what, let's say, the industry has to go for, since at the moment there's not only one single source of truth, and it gets messy. So let's have a look on the site. Let me just see if this video starts automatically. Yeah, no, it starts. This is a video actually provided by also Por, one of our customers. We didn't do it, they just filmed it by themselves. And you can see actually here in this context how they are using Gamma, like in a very small video here. That's actually the alignment that you are seeing here. People can go to the site, basically overlaying and pre-visualizing what will be built and at what point. So mistakes can be prevented, and just visualizing in a very easy way what will be built where and so on. This is one video. Let me just see if this, just continue. Here's another video that was done together with one of our clients too. Huge construction site, actually. It's like, very big laboratory construction. And you can see here how actually, in this case, the builders are using Gamma. So they are able to visualize for themselves how the constructions are progressing. If there are some issues, they can see for themselves also what they would like to, maybe even change in the progress. And in this context, they even used Gamma for the inspection of the fire protection laws and the regulations. So since every information is in the BIM model, it's super easy to access, let's say, or to do this kind of tasks, which always needed before many other, let's say, processes. And yeah.
Michael had a follow-up question.
Sure.
When it loads the BIM 360 model, does it just open the model or does it also highlight the issue?
I think we need to be a little bit more precise here in this context. When you click the link in the BIM 360, like in the column in BIM 360 in Gamma, it will open the issue in BIM 360. It will not highlight the issue in the model because that's another process. I hope that answered your question.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. So here you can see actually some other pictures from some different sites, like just to be able to see like what was planned and so on. I will also go through it. That's also another laboratory building that, actually where Gamma is used, of course, for the whole construction process. Just to visualize, basically it's actually pictures from our clients, not from us. And yeah, here are some more pictures. Yeah, basically we are actually done with the presentation.